Hello, you're watching Q News, and here are the top stories for this hour. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and Jordan's King Abdullah II have underscored the importance of preserving Syria's unity and territorial integrity. The two leaders discussed the escalating crisis in Palestine, calling for a Gaza ceasefire and urgent humanitarian aid. They rejected Palestinian displacement and reiterated support for a two-state solution. Talks also addressed the Syrian conflict and Lebanon, with both leaders backing the UN Security Council Resolution 1701 to ensure regional stability. Israeli warplanes have launched a series of intensive airstrikes targeting military sites in Syria's coastal Tartus region. Reports indicate that the strikes hit air defense units and ground-to-ground missile storage. Syrian media described them as the heaviest attacks in the region since Israeli airstrikes began in 2012. The recent raids destroyed military equipment and laboratories, but did not cause any casualties. Israel has been targeting Syrian military sites for years, claiming its goal is to prevent threats from armed factions. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas announced that she has instructed the EU's senior diplomat to Syria to travel to Damascus and engage with the new government. Upon her arrival at an EU foreign ministers meeting in Brussels, Kallas announced that the diplomat would travel to Syria today. She emphasized that the EU would not lift sanctions until Syria's new leadership ensures the protection of minorities and women's rights, while maintaining a unified government that rejects extremism.
Goes to the right direction, and I think then we are also...
The Kremlin has announced that no final decision has been made regarding Russia's military bases in Syria, despite reports of troop pullbacks in northern Syria and the Alawite Mountains. Russia has retained its main bases following al-Assad's fall. Earlier, Russia evacuated diplomats from Damascus, along with Belarusian and North Korean personnel, using a Russian Air Force flight from Kermlin Air Base. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has arrived at the Tel Aviv court to begin the second week of his testimony in his long-running corruption trial. Netanyahu is charged with fraud, breach of trust, and accepting bribes in 3 separate cases. He denies all accusations. This testimony marks another low point for Israel's long-serving leader, who also faces an international arrest warrant following alleged war crimes related to Israel's actions in Gaza. At least 20 Palestinians were killed last night in an Israeli airstrike targeting an UNRWA-run school sheltering displaced families in Khan Yunis, southern Gaza. The strike left several others injured. Israeli occupation forces also destroyed multiple residential buildings in the Jabalia refugee camp in northern Gaza. Lebanese caretaker Prime Minister Najib Mikati has expressed appreciation for Greece's ongoing support for Lebanon, emphasizing the importance of bilateral cooperation in various areas. During a press conference in Beirut with the Greek Prime Minister, Mikati highlighted Lebanon's reliance on Greece for security and stability, including humanitarian and economic aid and support for the Lebanese army. He stressed the need for the full implementation of ceasefire terms in Lebanon and called for the immediate cessation of Israeli aggression, citing its worsening humanitarian and security impact. South Korea's Constitutional Court has begun reviewing President Yoon Suk Yeol's impeachment over his December 3rd martial law attempt. The opposition-led parliament passed the motion on December 14th. The court has 6 months to decide Yoon's fate, as he and senior officials face potential insurrection charges. And that concludes our top stories for this hour. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more updates here on Q News.